Could you imagine catching like some type of like disease or something because you was messing with a VTuber who was messing with her other mods and other people in our Discord server? That's awful, bro. Holy shit. Imagine trying to explain that to somebody. Today we're going to be reacting to the most infamous VTubers.
Vtubers.
Hey, that's me.
You know, the anime looking things that come in.
Bro, Chibi Doki's like April Fool's motto, whatever, is so fucking good. And it pisses me off that she doesn't use it. It's actually on brand that she doesn't use it, and she uses like, her other model, and this is a joke. It's pretty fucking funny, but like she should use it more because it's really good. It looks really nice.
Many forms of there being a VTuber based on almost every animal, every mythical beast, and now apparently every food item, in which it is still being debated.
Bro, I still remember like not to shit on people, the peanut or whatever. Like I don't go to that school, bro. I don't know nothing about that side of the side of the space. Like but I still remember when like the annoying orange was a thing, bro. I remember I hated that shit so much. I never thought that shit was funny, and that's all that I get from this, bro. Like I do not like the way this stuff looks. Like what is this in the top left corner? Like what is this? Is that a band-aid or a mattress, bro? Like this shit is weird.
If these so-called food tubers count as actual VTubers, and if that
I say it's a VTuber, like whatever. You know what I mean? Like the term VTuber is so broad now. It is what it is. You don't have to like it, that's fine, but it's a VTuber. If you don't have an anime aesthetic, you aren't a VTuber. Simple as that. No shade to Peanut, blah blah. That's not true at all. I don't think that's true. You know what? I feel like that's a different conversation for a different video. But I completely disagree with that.
is true, that means that the first ever VTuber was the annoying orange. So do
That's what I was talking about. The annoying orange, bro. I fucking hated that shit.
that information what you will. But it's been some time.
There's, oh my god, there's someone who did vlogs, and they've been around for a very long time. They might even have been around predate Kazuna AI. I'm not sure. I have to double check. Maybe I'll include it in the video. I forgot what her YouTube channel name was. I think it was like Zoomy or something. No, I forgot her name. Like, but I'm gonna go out of my way to try and find it. But she was doing VTuber shit before I even knew what a VTuber was, and I don't know if it was like the phrase was even coined at the time. She would do IRL vlogs, but she was like an anime character, and I never understood how she did that shit. I was fascinated by it. I have to find out because I think she might have been around longer than Kazuna AI. I'm not sure.
Time since I've spoken about VTubers. I've been off this black tar heroin for months now, and it's time to relapse again. Yes, it's time to talk about the virtual content creators where most female avatars in the space have proportions that either
Holy shit, what's going on here? Yo, I'm not one to judge someone's VTuber model. Like, if that's what you want your model to look like, but this seems like it's just the obvious kink thing, right? Right? I'm not wrong. This is a kink. That's why they're doing this, right?
defy the laws of
Or maybe it's
physics
just a joke
or like
model.
something straight out of My 300-Pound Life, where most of the calories are predominantly stored in their chest. It's getting to the point now where I'm beginning to wonder if these VTubers are taking a page out of a specific type of fairies book.
I was saying that in another video that I made that I'm kind of like, I have no problem with fan service. It's a part of anime. It's a part of the VTuber culture. I get it. But at some point, you gotta just take a look at yourself. It's like, what am I doing? Why did I make are my tits so big? Like, why did I decide to go this way? You know what I mean? It just gets out of control at a certain point. At least in my opinion.
That actually goes kind of hard though. I like that.
And stereotypically, they are very insistent they don't have a significant other, which is a tale as old as time. Oh, that male.
If you're watching a VTuber and you're that parasocial, like, stop, man. Like, you can't watch content creators and with the hope of one day dating them or whatever. It's very sad. It's not kind of sad, it's very sad. Like, I understand maybe you're a VTuber who's doing like the boyfriend girlfriend experience. I suppose that's one thing. But as a viewer, just know 9 times out of 10 they're probably in a relationship. Just get that out the way because you're gonna suffer and you're gonna make things horrible for yourself if you just go into shit like that with that mindset. It is what it is.
Voice you heard in the background? That didn't happen, that was just you hallucinating. Now make sure your copium supplies are stocked up for tonight's stream, and make sure you've done your homework on the fan-made VTubing ovulation tracker.
I remember seeing this and thinking it was super weird. I thought it was a meme, but it's a real thing, and I'm like, people are I don't even have the word for it. People are fucking weird, man.
which was created based on the offhand comments the VTubers had made, which helped them calculate the exact day that VTuber had their period.
People on the internet scare the fuck out of me because they can do shit with like that with the little bit, like the littlest of information. You know what I mean? It scares me to think like you can show a picture of like your room with us, and the only thing you can see is like a wall, and people will somehow be able to track you down to your exact address. It's fucking crazy.
Posted tweets of me saying, "Ow, my tummy hurts, tummy hurt." Guys, that is me preeing a fat dookie. Like, that is me preeing a dump.
Note to self, do not piss off a VTuber fan or I might be involuntarily added to the male fertility tracker. But VTubing
Oh, excuse me. I didn't even know that was a thing. Okay, so I can somewhat understand how you could do like, you know, the period tracker, but how could you do a male fertility tracker? Like, how would that even fucking work?
has come a long way since it first started, from what most thought initially would have been a passing trend, to in the current day cementing itself on the internet as a genre of content that is here to stay. And it's easier than ever to become a VTuber if you can afford the price of a down payment on a house, if you want.
Come on, it's not that expensive anymore. Obviously, if you want to have like a super high-end model, it's going to cost a lot. But like, come on, be realistic. If you're getting a VTuber and you're just being content creation in general, the number one rule is don't spend a lot of money because you might not even like it to begin with, or it might not be something you can feasibly do. And there's cheaper ways to get started in VTuber nowadays. Like there's pre-made models that I've seen pre-made models on like Etsy and things like that that are like 20, 30 bucks and you can customize them. Like there's cheaper options to get started. So if you're looking to get into VTubing, don't even believe that, you know, that nonsense that you have to have thousands of dollars to even get started, because you don't.
A decent model, it's almost got to the point where they are putting the fairies to shame with these prices, and that's probably because with VTubing being so popular.
And when it comes to 3D models, in my opinion, that's something you do when you hit like a certain stride. When you're at that point where you're comfortably making a living doing content creation as a VTuber, then you might start looking into doing 3D, because that shit is expensive. That shit is not cheap. Like, it would be sick to have my own 3D model one day, but I know that's not something I can do for a feasible amount of time. You know what I mean?
Now it's
gotta
also
be
led to a
realistic.
rise in things related to it, like the price of commissions, and things like controversies, probably due to there being so many VTubers now and such a variety of personalities, to say the least.
One thing about VTuber controversy is people act like it's so weird that it happens, or that it's, I don't know, that it's such a crazy thing that there's always controversy in the VTubing space. But in reality, it's normal. There's a lot of controversy in the IRL space, like every day, honestly. If you don't even have to look for it, you will see some type of controversy almost every day going on online in that space. And for some reason, people make it seem like, oh, VTubers is so controversial. All they do is, you know, start drama farm and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, that shit happens, but it also happens just as often in IRL content creation space. Let's be honest, man.
No.
Listen up, Nick.
No.
Bridging
No.
OpenAI said.
No.
So let me explain how Nick changed
No.
into strategic reserve.
So the thing about this, right, how the algorithm works on most of these platforms, if you engage with something a lot, it's going to keep showing you that type of content. Now, I don't know if this, you know, this person is logged into their main account. I don't even think you have to be logged into your account, to be honest with you. But this goes to show me that they've seen this type of content offline and maybe they engage with it. I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't know. It's just a clip. Holy shit, man. But this is not looking good, man.
On-chain. Hyperbridge protocol.
Is this joke? No.
But with there being so many VTubers now and it being more accessible than ever, essentially meaning.
And this might sound crazy, like, because I am a black VTuber, being in this space, I kind of almost default to assuming a lot of these other VTubers might not like black people, or even just like the fan base. So I know it sounds crazy to say out loud, but it's just how you have to move in certain spaces when you are a black creator. Unfortunately, that's how it is.
Almost anyone can become a VTuber nowadays, and because of this it would only be natural for controversies to occur within the space, and there has been quite a lot just these past few years alone.
You know, looking back on the whole Cinder thing, I just want to say this real quick. Was it shitty what happened? Yes. But in the grand scheme of things, I've seen people do worse, and I've seen people come back from worse in the content creation space. That's all I'm going to say.
own. From VTubers having quarrels with their own communities, to an entire library's worth of Google Docs being published exposing other VTubers. I'm still hoping one day we move away from Google Docs and format exposes in Excel spreadsheets instead.
I stopped even trying to keep up with these Google Docs because some Google Docs just be like hundreds of pages long. And I'm like, I can't be bothered to care about certain things. You know what I mean?
Major corporations built around VTubing.
And it sucks seeing what happened to VShojo because that was like the only like corpo I like. If I ever got to the point where I could join something and I got offered to join something, like VShojo always felt like that's the place where most indie VTubers would want to go. You know what I mean? And seeing what happened to them is kind of like, damn, makes you want to stay indie forever. But at the same time, I get why people want to be part of a corpo. Like it definitely has benefits, 100%.
Crumbling to the ground. But today I wanted to look at some VTubers that behind the guise of an avatar said or did some things that either destroyed the platform they had, or after everything was said and done, their name would only be regarded with infamy, or in one case would end with someone being arrested. But who are these VTubers and what did they do?
Have you ever stopped to think that those cute and quirky VTubers you watch might be more than just entertaining digital personalities? What if I told you they're actually part of a government conspiracy to convince the public that women are real?
So obviously
there's certain creators where I just can't. It's not for me, man. I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be nice. I am trying to be nice. But not everybody's for everyone. I'm just gonna leave it at that, man. Never mind.
we are going to start with a gentle pegging and then slowly work our way up, with the first VTuber on this list possibly being the most tame in comparison to the others. Cha-Cha Chilla is a small self-proclaimed princess VTuber
I'm not familiar with this VTuber. This is the first time I'm hearing about them.
that has the appearance of a chinchilla, which is like a fat rat. But even though they were small in size, they would cause a drama that would blow up and make their name known throughout the internet, all down to, in my opinion, the most petty reason. And
I know a lot of smaller VTubers kind of just use that strategy as a way to grow, and I guess it works up to a certain point. But my thing is, I always say this: if you build a certain audience around that type of like exposure or that type of content, you have to. Those are the people that are going to be watching you now, and now you have to deal with them. And it gets to a point where like that becomes too much, or if you say or do something that they don't like, they're going to turn on you like instantly. They're not a loyal fan base. So in my opinion, building a fan base or building an audience on like negativity like that is almost never worth it.
looking at their track record, it might be safe to say they are the Amber Heard of VTubing. So around November
That's a crazy thing to say. So what did this person do?
2025, there was a Minecraft server known as the SVASMP, named after the SOX agency, which is a VTubing agency with
I recognize one VTuber on here. There's so many VTubers, man.
multiple talents. But despite not being a part of the agency, Cha-Cha and a bunch of other VTubers were welcome to join the server. And the server was known to be heavily roleplay orientated, where the VTubers would take on characters and interact with each other as said characters.
I never got into like the roleplay stuff. Like, for example, the GTA RP, like that stuff doesn't do anything for me. It's just like, when I had watched that, it kind of rubs me the wrong way because it's a lot of people pretending to act a certain way, which is, that's what role playing is. But I seen some people kind of play like this, I'm trying to put it in not a crazy way, but I've seen people play as black characters and talk a certain way and act a certain way. And it kind of rubs me the wrong way. I'm like, I don't know if I like that. So I kind of just avoid it. And that kind of gave me a bad taste in my mouth when it comes to RP stuff. So I kind of avoid it.
Think of it like a more casual version of GTA RP.
Well, I do miss you.
Miss you too, baby, but yeah.
This is another thing. This is too weird for me. I can't do that either. Like, I get it's roleplay, but I think for some people, it's not roleplay. You know what I mean?
Okay. I hope it's not too long because I don't want to wait too long to have sex.
It's gonna be 7 days.
Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, for them, that's just not roleplay. They're not pretending. They really probably be doing, like, sex stuff over Discord or whatever the fuck they're talking on.
7 days.
Things on the Minecraft server were rather peaceful. It was just a bunch of big and small VTubers role-playing and having fun. But obviously, things wouldn't be that way for long.
It never
On the
is.
18th of November, Chilla would make...
Let's read this. I tried to talk to Flork about one of his talents having a habit of calling people inferior and how that can seem to disabled people. However, he blocked me and said not to bring up my personal issues with his talents. I believe calling somebody inferior is demeaning. I mean, yeah, it is, as a historically used context. Adfree VT called us that. If you support Socks VTuber, blah, 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 this is what you're supporting. I mean, that seems like a pretty okay tweet, right? I'm not seeing the problem with here. Someone calling me inferior is gonna rub me the wrong way too.
a public tweet they would later delete, calling out the SOX VTuber agency and members of the agency such as Flock and Adfree, claiming that these parties were essentially endorsing ableism and making light of her disability, and she would attach a 3-second clip to that tweet where there was a role-playing event months prior to this involving a team going against another team, and one of the members of the team going against Cha Cha Chilla's team referred to them as inferior.
Almost died the first like 2 minutes.
Okay, so that seems like it's just taken specifically out of context. Like, that doesn't sound like they're saying it in a mean way. Obviously, a 3-second clip. I could be fucking wrong. I don't know. But it doesn't seem like they were saying it in a way to be, like, mean or, like, I don't know, like, super shitty. I don't know.
We're just better. That's what they're saying there.
Cha Cha also claimed that when she tried to talk about this to Flock, he would block her and tell
It sounds like they're just shit talking for the competitive, you know, game they had going on.
her not to bring up personal issues with his talent. Now, immediately off rip, people were not on her side, and that post would actually get quickly community noted, saying she was wrong. Because not only was this event months ago, and she was only bringing this up now, but it was also a bit of a stretch to call people.
Yeah, that's another thing. If something happens, like it's a situation, bring it up immediately. I understand sometimes you can't because it's like a serious thing and maybe lawyers need to get involved and things like that. But like sometimes it's best to just, you know, why bring something up so late? Because it comes off as you just seeking for attention at that point. Like bring it up in a relatively, acknowledgeable time to when the situation happened.
Ableist for saying this and assuming she was the one targeted out of everyone else on her team. Eventually Flock, one of the people called out in the post, would respond, saying they already spoke about this, a group actually reviewed this claim and found no wrongdoing, and he had already told her not to contact him anymore. She would then respond to this saying, actually, you didn't tell me to stop messaging you, and then leaks.
It's always a Discord DMs, man. It's always a Discord DMs. That's why I don't even really talk to people on Discord. The only time I use Discord is if I'm talking about to my actual IRL friends. Like, I don't be joining random Discords of people I don't even know, or streamers or content creators. I don't do that shit. Like, I literally only use Discord to talk to my actual friends. That's kind of it. Because Discord will have you, caught up on some dumb shit. Like, you can DM some super innocent shit to somebody on some regular stuff, and months later, they'll be like, oh, this person was flirting with me, or this person was harassing me, or blah, blah, blah. It's like, what are you talking about?
DMs showing messages that clearly show him saying he was uncomfortable talking to her. All in all, people just thought she was bringing this up for no reason or to simply cause drama or be a victim, especially after the situation was looked at and reviewed months ago. But apparently it's not the only time she did something like this, because they apparently had multiple VTubing personas when they were first Nyan.
There it is. So now it makes sense. A lot of VTubers do this shit where when they're not getting the views or whatever they want, they'll just get a new VTuber model. And to me, that's like such a waste of time and money. Like, it makes more sense sticking to one model and putting in the time and effort to actually grow that brand instead of saying, oh, this is not working. It's obviously my model's fault. I need a better looking model. When it's like, that's not the case. You need to be more entertaining. You need to have more, content. You need to actually try and do different things to grow. You can't just be a VTuber and think having a good model is going to carry, because it doesn't work like that anymore. Like, VTubing isn't a special thing like that anymore, where it's enough to just have a good looking model and thinking that's going to carry you. It just doesn't work that way.
Cherise, they apparently did the same thing there and was claimed to harass people. Then they
also, I don't know how people like do some shitty thing and then they switch to the model thing and people aren't going to know. Like, you're still going to use your voice unless you're using a TTS or something, but people are still going to be able to recognize your voice, so it's like you're not going to get away with anything.
They moved on to Bunny Alisu, which had even worse allegations like doxing and revenge porn. And after
Holy
all
shit.
of that, they eventually became Cha-Cha Chiller. But by this point, nobody believed Cha-Cha, and she would apologize. She then claimed she's going to the hospital, providing a picture of
Oh, not the hospital picture, bro. People do that shit all the time. Like if they're in some hot water, they'll take a picture of them in the hospital. Or maybe it could be even an old photo of them in the hospital and they'll post that shit like trying to get sympathy points or something.
which many would claim was fake, and she wouldn't provide verification when asked. She then goes on to try and prove that the people making accusations about her previous personas, specifically the VTuber Apollo, claiming they are lying, but with all the screenshots provided, some were thought to be fake. To this day,
I feel like it's also super easy to fake like a hospital picture as a VTuber because like you can just easily cover up your face of any photo and be like, oh yeah, that's me. I'm in the hospital.
months later, she is still claiming to be a victim, still talking about the situation, and still obtaining community notes like they were on a fire sale.
I don't like this.
You're my little
So Gunpowder
What? Bro. Is that an actual thing this person said? Like some people can't be that tone deaf. There's no fucking way, man.
is a name that is somewhat well known within the VTuber community, but not
This goes to show me that I'm in the wrong space, or maybe I'm in the right space of the VTubing, scene because I don't know who this is either. And if they're a well-known like piece of shit, then maybe I'm in the right area. I mostly stick to myself, so that could be what it is.
for a good reason. She's someone we spoke about before, like a year ago, but obviously things got a lot worse since then, like a lot worse. But if you don't know, Gunpei was a VTuber that was just a bit unhinged.
I fucking hate streaming. I fucking hate streaming and VTubing. I hate VTubers. VTubers have ruined my life. Every unfunny female VTuber who replies to my tweets deserves to get by a sledgehammer. I'm gonna buy a sledgehammer on Temu. I'll make sure it's wrapped in microplastics, and I will wrap that sledgehammer around it. I will fuck them.
All right, that was OD. Like I think it's the anonymous factor, man. It's the anonymous factor that gives people this sense of like safety that they can say crazy shit like that and think it's okay. And I think some people just fucked up mentally anyway. I think some people just have some things going on and they need to be as far away from the internet as possible.
You're my little
Gunpei was a dog VTuber that debuted in September of 2020.
And it's crazy that people are liking that. Well, maybe it's not because they're in that Discord, so obviously they're into that type of weird shit.
24, and she quite quickly developed a loyal following, primarily because her content was made up of two things.
People on the internet, or some guys on the internet, a lot of guys on the internet, they like that type of, girl figure, quote unquote, type of character. So I guess it really doesn't surprise me that she had people engaging with her content, I'll say.
One, she was a so-called girl failure with a
Oh, there you
mental
go. Wow, look at
illness, which was probably attractive to her audience at the time because they thought they could fix her or they related to her. And
that shit is so crazy to me because just the thought of being with somebody who identifies as a failure, like I'm trying to stay away from those people. Like nobody's life is perfect, people fuck up, people grow at different rates, but to label yourself outwardly to other people as a failure, that's just like mad embarrassing, and it's like it shows it gives me like low confidence. You know what I mean? I don't like that shit. I try to stay away from people that label themselves as failure because they'll drag you down.
two, her content focused on the
but also it's just a thing where misery loves company. So of course, people who are miserable, they can be like, oh, there's a content creator who's miserable as well. I can identify with them. Let me, watch them, and we can all just sit and be awful together. That shit sucks, man. Who wants to be around that like depressing shit all day?
called girlfriend experience, which is a term mainly used in the adult industry. But
oh, so she had, both of them going on. She identified as a fucking girl failure and she did the girlfriend experience. Yeah, she was like playing with fire right there, to be honest with you.
The streaming space, it often translates to the streamer farming a parasocial relationship with their audience like they are dating them.
I'm rubbing my tummy. Do you hear it?
Ew.
Do you hear it?
All right. I don't like this, bro.
internet.
But the result of this is often the streamer being showered with gifts by their...
And I want to say that I don't think parasocial behavior is a bad thing. I think it's like something that's been around forever, and not just in content creation space, like celebrity stuff. Like it's okay to like a certain like creator or actor, musician, whatever, and really enjoy that content a little bit more than the average fan. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. It's when you take it to the next level and you become obsessed with that person. I think there's a thin line between being power social and being obsessed, and people kind of skate that line every day.
Audience because the streamer is directly feeding into the illusion that they share some form of relationship, even though the viewer probably knows nothing about the personal life of said streamer.
But isn't that what all content creation is? Like, people watch content creators that they identify themselves with in some form or fashion, whether that's because they're playing a game that they like or they're talking about an anime that they like. Like, that's part of being a content creator. So I don't think that's such a terrible thing.
Gunpai played into this hard, like, too hard. She heavily insisted that she was actually dating her viewers to the extent that if they were talking to any other female or had a relationship, they were cheating on her. And they were not even allowed to speak about any other females in things like head.
Okay, now I'm thinking about this right now. There's a VTuber that I watch that does it. But I don't know if they don't do it where it's like serious, where I believe them for real. Like, to me, I look at it as a bit. You know, they're just kind of doing it. I feel like you guys can probably guess who it is just by looking at the stickers on my laptop. So it's kind of embarrassing in this situation watching this video. But like I said, I think it's just a bit. I do think some people seriously do this shit and take advantage of their viewers, and that's fucking weird.
Discord. She also took tributes from her fans.
By tributes? What the fuck?
By tributes, I don't mean money or items of value, I mean things like cum tributes.
Alright.
Which is where, you know what, I'm not even gonna explain this. Go.
Like, if you're at that point in your life where you're doing that type of shit, like, bro, like, get a job, seek therapy. You're obviously very bored and your life is, just empty. You need something. You need help. You just need help.
Yourself. On her Tumblr page that has now been deleted, you can find under her commonly asked questions a line saying her fans can send her anything, and I mean anything, including intimate pictures with examples like peni pics and said tributes, and she was more than happy to receive them, even saying she was going to archive them.
No, that's fucking dangerous. Why would you even say... You're setting yourself up for some shit, bro. Like, if somebody sent you some type of illegal content, you now have it in your possession, and you can get in trouble for that type of shit. Come on, man.
You know, to
People
each
don't
their
think.
own. Someone out there is probably happy their favorite VTuber or Oshi has a picture of their cocktail sausage somewhere on their SSD. But funny enough,
what does that do for you, though? I don't understand. That wouldn't do anything for me, man. At all. I can't imagine.
This wasn't what made her so controversial in the space, and I would argue that in some communities like VTubing, this type of behavior isn't rare, so it didn't ring any alarm bells initially. But
I feel like this type of behavior is rare. Out of all the VTubers I've watched, I've never seen any of them have something like that, where it's like, yeah, send me dick pics and cum tributes. I've never seen that. This is the first time I'm hearing about this. Like I said, maybe I'm just in the right spaces and some of these other people in the wrong spaces, so this is the type of shit they get, but I've never seen it.
The thing that actually did make her known to the wider internet was in November of 2024, when a person was doing a commission for a fan of hers making a plushie of her VTuber model, and they had leftover material, so they asked if anyone else wanted one for a price. And Gunpai saw this and got very angry, thinking this person was using her brand to make a profit and she was getting nothing out of it, which also led to a number of public tweets shitting on the person and where they come from, but a lot of people were actually on the side of the person who made the plushie, including...
I feel like if somebody was making a plushie of my VTuber model, I would be flattered. I'd be flattered that somebody likes my content enough and they like my design enough that they want to spend their own hard-earned money to commission somebody to make a plushie out of my stuff. Like, I would be flattered. Obviously, if they're selling it on a massive scale, then sure, that's different. But this situation is just like, come on. You should be like flattered that somebody is even taking their time to do some shit like that, which is crazy because you have no problem them sending you like tributes or whatever. That's so gross to say out loud. I'm recording this video in my room by myself, and saying that out loud still makes me feel like a freak. But anyway, you have no problem having people send you that type of shit. But if somebody makes a plushie out of you, you have a meltdown. That shit is weird.
bigger VTubers, and the tide quickly turned against Gunpei, leading to her crashing out even more. This is the situation.
And if someone's saying that's the thing that, you know, made people turn on her, not all the other shit. That's fucking wild.
That put her on everyone's radar, and it wouldn't make much of an impact on her streaming career. She would go MIA for a bit, but when she came back, she still had an audience waiting for her, probably with a show and tell of their latest tribute they made after saving up for a week. But if she could get away with this and the comments she made, it almost looked like she could get away with anything. Any offhand comment, any racial remark, because her community was loyal and infatuated with her. And probably in their eyes, she could do no wrong.
That shit catches up to you eventually, man. Like I said, that's a miserable existence. That's a miserable way to make content. Like, who wants to get online, start stream, and just deal with negativity in their chat all day long? And they know they have to play into it, you know, to make people want to watch. Like, who wants to live like that? That's so awful. Can't be good for your mental health, man.
Well, until the curtains of that delusion came crashing down because Gunpei...
Let me guess, she had a boyfriend.
...was cheating on her audience. She had an actual boyfriend.
Wow, I'm so shocked. I'm so fucking shocked. I'm like, come on, there's no way y'all didn't think this was ever gonna happen. Like, people are so... I feel bad for these people, honestly.
25, a document would be dropped by a past friend of Gunpei, showing screenshots of their interactions where Gunpei is seen gloating about possibly getting into a relationship with a guy and him playing the manager role for her
It's always the manager, man. It's always the manager.
VTubing career. With this,
if it's not a manager, it's a Discord mod. Come on.
Female VTubers are never going to escape the manager that is actually a...
Wait, what does it say? A lot of indie VTuber Oshis have boyfriends. Their boyfriends are reading your love confessions. Indies do not have managers unless they are actually corporate and thus are not indie at all. Yeah, most VTubers are regular people in society. It's not surprising that they have a relationship. And it's not just women, it's men too. But I feel bad for women. And it's not just VTubing space. It's also like IRL content creators, female content creators. If they find out, if anybody finds out they have a boyfriend, it can jeopardize their, you know, being able to do it for a living. So I feel bad for, you know, female creators in that aspect. Like, it sucks. You can't have a regular life where you have to keep that type of stuff private. Otherwise, it'll affect your, you know, your content. It's pretty shitty.
Boyfriend accusation. There are additional screenshots shown in the document, like her on an alt saying she's falling in love with this person and that she bought him an ASMR dildo.
A what? An ASMR, excuse me, an ASMR 3DO and audio interface. I don't know what that means. What is a 3DO? 3DO? I don't know what that is.
How does that even work? But when this was made public, Gunpei was cooked. It was GG next game for this VTuber. Her audience felt absolutely betrayed, and she would immediately take down all her public profiles, and anything made or posted by Gunpei was wiped clean. It was rumoured that one of her fans after this actually committed, but
holy shit. Like, see, you got to be careful with that type of stuff, because, like, that's not surprising. I don't know if this is true or not. It could just be a lie, obviously, internet. But if you're in those trenches right now, those, you know, super obsessed parasocials trenches, like, I hope you see the light and you get away from there, because that shit is not good for you, bro. Like, how are you decimated that your content creator that you watch has a boyfriend? Like, that shit doesn't sound crazy in your head just thinking about it, man. Come on.
That
There's a beautiful world out there, man. I swear, if you go touch grass and let the sun touch your skin, you'll see that, man. Step away from the computer.
Hard evidence. There was only public tweets of them seeming distressed about her having a boyfriend, but that is one of the many unfortunate things that can happen when you feed into such an unhealthy parasocial relationship as a streamer. She did sell off her avatar for around $2,000, of which someone actually bought it not to make a meme out of it, but to preserve it, and she did attempt to rebrand as another VTuber, but obviously with the reputation that followed her,
I feel like at that point, you shouldn't try to rebrand. At that point, you should just stick with your old model and try to, you know, tough it out, apologize, whatever you got to do to, like, get through that shit. Because if you just up and leave after going to a crazy situation like that and try to go somewhere else, people aren't going to forget. Like I said, they're going to know your voice, and it's always going to follow you around. So your best is just maybe apologize, take a break, and then come back later, and I'm sure you'll be just fine. People have done that.
Unsuccessful. I was going to go over another VTuber story here, but because it's very similar to Gunpie's, I thought I'd just combine them and go through it very quickly. The VTuber Elfin Psyop is someone that cultivated
This person, I've heard of their name and I've seen them around a little bit.
The same audience as Gunpie. She was known to be a girl failure.
Bro, the troll face is killing me, bro. That is such an ancient fucking meme, bro. Oh my god, that was like meme before meme. Jesus.
Yeah, an alcoholic, a gooner, and having some very controversial opinions. This is one of her posts she was most known for.
I can't do it.
It's the Jews.
It's too difficult.
It's the Jews.
It's all my fault.
It's the Jews again.
No, it's just like a edgy ass fucking VTuber, edgy ass persona online. Like this is like the lowest hanging fruit you could possibly go to try and grow as a creator. Just be the most edgy and say the most shitty things you want, and you'll probably gain somewhat of an audience. And like I said, it's a miserable experience and miserable to make content like that, but hey, it's an easy way to grow.
They get revealed she was gooning, sending NSFW pictures of herself, and had relationships with people in her audience, specifically the mods of her Discord
That's
server,
pretty fucking
with
crazy.
most of them not knowing the other guys existed and that she was doing the same act.
Holy shit. Yo, could you imagine catching like some type of like disease or something because you was messing with a VTuber who was messing with her other mods and other people in her Discord server? That's awful, bro. Holy shit. Imagine trying to explain that to somebody.
Activities with them. It was also discovered that even though she was very vocal about people that were not white, she herself was
No surprising there. A VTuber doesn't like black people. Bro, it never stops.
one of the people she preached about, and she would Photoshop her pictures to appear as white as possible and not her default skin color, as she was originally from Pakistan and
Wait, so she was... Oh, it makes sense now. She hates herself. Wow, the self-hate is what caused all this. Some people really like that. In a way, it's kind of sad and I feel bad for her, but holy shit.
moved to the UK. It was also revealed that there were underage people in her Discord server where they would be exposed to NSFW
That's
material and Elfin
tough.
would contribute to it. In response to the
That's my thing too. I feel like I've said this in a previous video. When it comes to Discord, I never understand why people have those not safe for work sections in a Discord. I understand like you could be an adult or whatever, but you can't really verify people in your Discord server. And that's just like a bad thing waiting to happen. You know what I mean? Because people could pretend to be a certain age and meanwhile they're underage, and now all of a sudden you're under fire because you decided to have this shitty section in your Discord. For what purpose? Like, what are you even getting out of that, man? Come on.
claim about having relationships with multiple people, she would say she was in a terrible state, they took advantage of her, and she always told them she was not a person to date people. She'd also say she was not grooming the person in her Discord server, and then the victim would respond saying they were not groomed. And then when the NSFW pictures she sent to people privately were being circulated on the internet, she would claim at that time she was not an adult, meaning that when she was sending these files to people, she was knowingly distributing illegal material to people.
Yeah, I was about to say, wait, that's not... I feel like I've seen this actually part of this part of it happening. I've seen this go around before. Yeah, that's like, it's not the, I guess, the thing that you want to admit, because it's only gonna make things fucking worse.
However, people were hesitant to believe this story at the time because it seemed like a claim she would use to get out of this whole mess. But with this, the NSFW interactions with some of her supporters, apparently even the existence of a boyfriend, and lying about her nationality while some could say preaching against it, this would all result in a lot of her diehard fans abandoning her, and she would quickly delete everything and disappear from the internet.
That's what I'm saying. It's never worth it to go down that path. I know it might be tempting because you can grow really quick from doing it, but it's never worth it, and I don't think it's really sustainable in the long run.
Honey, you're such a good girl.
Ew! Get out my ears!
Hi, baby girl.
Ew, 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 ew.
So this is the first male
gross.
VTuber we're going to be
just violated my ears.
Talking about on this list, and probably the only one.
Really? I feel like I see male VTubers get shit on all the time for being sex pests in the space, so I mean, I'm surprised he said there's only one. Why are male VTubers incapable of reaching the same heights of popularity as female counterpoints? I mean, let's be honest, this space is mostly men watching women. And when it comes to male VTubers, there's a couple up there that do really well for themselves. But it's just, I feel like it's always just going to skew towards one side. And that's just something you have to accept if you're getting this space. It's not impossible. Like, for example, my favorite VTuber is Kenji. I watched him before he was a VTuber and all that stuff. I've seen his entire journey go from that to what he is now. And I think it's really fucking cool. You know, like, it was really cool to see that path. In fact, if he didn't become a VTuber, he's the reason I became a VTuber. So like, shout out to him. That's pretty fire. But also, being in his space, I realized that not everybody, you can't be a male VTuber and expect to be as big as fucking, I don't know, Iron Mouse, for example. Like, it's probably never, I don't want to say it's never going to happen, because the internet is an interesting place. And every day, a new content creator comes along that you never even heard of, who blows up and they explode in his popularity is high. So I don't want to say never. But if you're getting into space as a male VTuber, don't be like, oh, I want to be as big as, has the expectations of, I want to be as big as like the biggest VTubers. Like, yes, it's nice to have, you know, aspirations and goals that you want to do, but also be realistic with yourself. Also, you don't have to be that big of a creator to be able to do this full time and have a good time doing it. People get so obsessed with numbers. They think they have to have the biggest number out of everybody in order to like do this thing. And it's like, you really don't. You absolutely do not.
Because once again, in my opinion,
also, don't let this, as a male VTuber, don't let that shit get in your head where male VTubers, if you're a guy, you shouldn't even try to be a VTuber, because that's also bullshit. If you enjoy doing it, fucking do it. Don't let someone on the internet be like, oh, you're wasting your time because you're a guy. Like, it's bullshit. Because clearly people have done it. You know, there's a couple of male VTubers. Well, there's a decent amount of male VTubers who are popular and they're doing it as a living. So that's evidence that it can be done. Will it be easy? No. But doing content creation in the first place isn't easy.
there aren't that many male VTubers compared to female, but just because there's less doesn't mean there's any shortage of controversies surrounding them. Torakaru was a VTuber that debuted in
I feel like I've seen his VTuber before.
2022. His design was said to be a completely normal human that cosplayed as a tiger. Now, Tora's content was kind of like the opposite of the girlfriend experience I described previously, because in his case, it was more like a boyfriend experience.
Honey?
Ew!
Honey is such a good...
Bro, Bro, when people say VTubers are cringe, it's because of shit like this, bro. Like, you're giving everybody... Listen, it's an audience for everything, so I don't want to shit on the boyfriend experience thing. I really do not. Because it's the same thing with the girlfriend experience. I don't want to shit on that either, because there's an audience for everything, and if you're not hurting anybody, you're not taking it to the next level, and everybody's consenting to be there and engage with that, that's cool. But, like, holy shit, man. It's not for me.
Hi, baby girl.
Bro, and it's like, when you make content, 9 times out of 10 you're in a room by yourself just recording videos or whatever. So like, the thought of someone being in their room in their mic just talking about like, hi baby girl, seriously doing that shit, it's like, it's so funny to me, just like the image of that shit. God damn, man.
I would be your sugar daddy, on God, no cap, and give you everything
I don't like
that
this.
I could possibly.
Emily. I love Emily so much.
This shit is so funny because it proves that like, there's some women out there that are just as down bad and desperate as men out there. And it's like, y'all should just come together, bro. Like just come together. I'm sure you guys will like enjoy each other, man.
Now, Tora would also do NSFW content and was known to act very flair.
Is that Mari? Mari Yumi? Shout out to her, because she blew up, like, I don't want to say somewhat recently, but like, she did a really good job of like getting to like a much bigger size that she is now. So like, I'm proud of her for that shit.
Towards his viewers.
I love, this is off topic, but I love when I'm watching a creator who's not that big and watching them blow up and become like, you know, a sensation or whatever, or do really well for themselves. I love seeing that shit. That shit always feels good to see.
And other VTubers. But around his 2.0 debut, in his own words, he would attempt to separate the NSFW from his usual content and would attempt to be less flirty, even saying previously he was a lot worse in an interview.
That shit's not gonna happen. Once you build, like I said, once you build a certain audience, they're gonna expect that shit from you. So it's hard to separate it. You gotta start that shit completely fresh. Maybe start a separate channel or just rebrand with it or something. But once you start something and your audience expects that from you, it's almost impossible to move on.
So, starting like when I got my 2.0, I got my I started using an alt account for NSFW stuff, and on my main account, I very, very rarely am quote unquote down bad or say anything like sexual or flirty.
So unfortunately, he would have had done that. He would have to have done that in the opposite. And what I mean is, he would have to make a second channel where he does stuff that's not safe for work or whatever. That's more, you know, like you said, just regular stuff. And then his main channel would have to continue to be the same thing. Because what's going to happen is, if you're on the main channel, you try to just switch shit up overnight, people aren't gonna like that. You're gonna lose subscribers and views are gonna be down, all that type of stuff. So unfortunately, you would have to have the second channel be your channel where you can do the stuff you want to do that's not so adult. Otherwise, you're just gonna shoot yourself in the foot.
Or stuff like that, right?
Now, you would assume that, you know, the flirting he was doing on stream with others or with his chat, this was just an act for entertainment purposes. You wouldn't think it was serious or how he behaved off camera. But as it turns out, that assumption would be wrong, and this type of behavior he exhibited was just the tip of the iceberg. It would actually be much worse and result in over 10 people coming out with their uncomfortable experiences with this VTuber. In March of 2024, the first of many statements regarding Toro's behavior would be released. This was made.
If this, I don't know what's about to happen, but if you're a content creator and you're big, you should just don't get into relationships with your fans. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure it's work for some people, but like, it's almost never worth it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's not impossible to find somebody because it makes sense. You guys share a common interest, but there's a weird like imbalance there. Like, they've been watching you this entire time and they know so much about you. So it's very easy for them to fake like, oh, I like this thing because this person like it. Like, they know more about you. So it's just weird. I don't know, man.
By a fellow VTuber named Lily, and in this document she would talk about her personal experience with Tora. These two were initially well acquainted. They met through a mutual friend's Discord server, and Tora was one of the people that were there for her when she was going through a breakup. At the time, it was stated Tora was showing some interest in Lily, but there would be problems preventing them from progressing to that point. A year after meeting, there was a discussion of a group trip to Anime Expo 2023. This including both Tora, Lily, and others.
I'm
When
not liking
Tora
where
heard
this is
Lily
going.
was going to be there, he supposedly became excited and started to make advances towards Lily. This included allegedly sending unsolicited dick pics.
Bro, like, just be normal, dude. I'm sorry, I think I hit my mic. But just be normal, all right? Like, if someone's showing interest in you and this is the type of situation you're in, why would you immediately go to sending, like, dick pics? You haven't even met the person yet. They haven't asked for it yet. Like, why would you do that? That's gonna set off red flags. Be fucking normal. Meet the person first, have conversations, and just engage like a regular human. Like, some people are just so fucked up in the head, they have, like, no experience with just because they don't leave their fucking house, and then shit like this, they do shit like this, man. I'm getting heated. I'm getting a little, heated because I hate seeing shit like this because it's like, I don't know, it pisses me off, man.
Requesting pictures, sexual comments like how he would masturbate to her streams, and he
Like, what? Like, that's not crazy? When you sent that shit, you wasn't like, man, this is crazy, I shouldn't do this. You just fucking did it? Oh my god.
made it known he wanted to do things when they met. Now, Lily did say
Also, like, did she shut this shit, excuse me, did she shut this shit down, or she just, like, let it go on? Like, did she kind of, I don't want to victim blame or nothing like that, but like, what's going on? Let me, before I say something, put my foot in my mouth, let's see what's going on.
she felt uncomfortable by these advances, but because of him previously helping her with their breakup and at the time having some feelings for him, she wouldn't outright shut down these advances.
Yeah, it's shitty she didn't, say no and all that stuff. But at the same time, like I said, why the fuck would you say and do things like that? Just not thinking that's not crazy, bro. Holy shit.
When it came to the trip, on the second day they would eventually meet, and he would allegedly state he had no interest in doing anything because there was somebody else he was interested in. This is something she would say she was relieved to hear, but was upset that he led her on for months prior and pressured her into doing things, making it seem like he wanted her. The two at the end of—
Wait, now I'm confused. Wait, so she said she was uncomfortable with the advances, and then when he said there was somebody else, she was almost sad that she wasn't getting hit on anymore, or whatever the fuck you want to call that. I'm so fucking confused, man.
The day would go to an Airbnb where her friend let the both of them stay because Lily's hotel was over an hour away, and the two of them would sleep on the couch as they were unexpected guests and there wasn't any rooms for them. Whilst trying to sleep on different ends of the couch, it's said that Tora at some point starts making unwanted advances towards Lily, kissing her on the cheek and whispering in her ear, and at this point she was pinned and wanted him off. Unfortunately, because of the commotion, one of the people they were staying with would come check on them, where Tora would then supposedly jump off her. The person didn't notice anything and
What is this ominous ass photo, bro? What the fuck?
Tora even remarked
Why do they not have a head? Is this an actual photo from the situation or something? Wait, what? No way.
how creepy the person looked with the lighting and took a picture. After that night, she doesn't recount any
Oh
other
shit, that was a real
conversation
picture.
with Tora whilst on the trip. She would confront him months later, but he allegedly brushed her off and thought she was mad because they didn't do anything. She would correct him on this, of which he apologizes and says he will be better, but he still didn't directly address the assault. After this, she doesn't cut contact straight away, as she initially thought she was overreacting because of the way he reacted when she confronted him. Eventually, she opens up to others about this and realizes she wasn't overreacting, leading to her cutting him off, cancelling collabs with him and confronting him again, where this time he does somewhat address what happened.
I feel like this whole thing could have avoided if this dude wasn't a fucking asshole. You know what I mean? If he just, like I said, it's so, maybe it's just me. Like, why is it so hard to just be normal on the internet? Like, just be normal. Don't send dick pics, unwanted dick pics, and weird messages like this is always going to come back to bite you in the ass. You know what I mean? Like, talk to people in person. Oh my God, this is so crazy.
And a few weeks later,
this is why I stay to myself for the most part. Like, I don't even want to, like, yes, one day it'd be nice to collab with people that I fuck with. That would be great. But my current state, where I'm currently at with my space and my, greater sphere or whatever, I kind of just want to stay to myself and do my own thing, because this is fucking nuts. You can't, it's hard to trust people.
After this, she would release this document, which led many others to come out with their own stories, where similar things happened to them. Love bombing, requesting personal information, talking the same way to some VTubers that were underage. He made a list of VTubers he wanted in his harem.
Bro, that's a fucking red flag, bro. What are you talking about? You made a breeding list. What are you saying to me, bro? This is pissing me off. This shit is pissing me off. What the fuck? This is weird.
Or to breed with. And even in one instance, he sent a whole ASMR video to one of these girls. And before I show this to you, I have to give you a content warning, because this is disturbing content.
If this is too much, I'm gonna cut it out of the video, man.
So be warned.
You're such a cutie.
Oh my
I wanna
gosh.
kiss you.
Oh my gosh. Is he making kissing noise right now, bro? I can't. Bro, this is making, like, I got goosebumps, bro, and not in a good way. Bro. What?
I love you. I love you, Zenith.
This is so cringe. This gives me, like, this feels, I don't know this person, but it makes me feel like they've never actually interacted with women in real life before. They've just been so online and so ingrained in this type of anime bullshit, and they just don't know how to be, like, just don't know how to talk to people. This is fucking gross. Like, do they think this is attractive? Do they think people find this hot?
You're the best.
Gross.
Glad to become your friend. You're so skilled at art.
Like, this is insane, bro. Fuck. You know? It's really hard getting through this, bro. I'm sorry.
And you're very cute. And very pretty.
Thanks, man. I appreciate
I
it.
saw your immersion bricks. You really... you really are my type. I'm glad to get to know you a bit
How
better.
long is this, man?
I like you.
Tora made unwanted.
That was fucking awful. That might have been the most cringe shit I've ever watched on the internet in my entire life, and I'm not fucking joking. And I've been on the internet a long time. I'm not fucking kidding. That was awful.
Advances to a lot of people in the space. This was a repetitive.
It's so embarrassing knowing that's, like, out of all the content you've made, that's probably what you're gonna be known for. That shit feels awful, man.
Pattern. Unfortunately, it took one document to inspire others to come out with their stories. Tora released his own document where he acknowledged some wrongdoing whilst disputing parts of the allegations, but he would say in the same document he was ultimately going to graduate, unlike some of the other VTubers I've mentioned would wipe everything and leave the internet. There is a lot more to this story and what Tora did.
I think I
This
heard
was
enough.
a basic summary of that. If you want a full look into it, there's a good video by Safira Denoma on it, which
I'll take your word
helped
for it,
me
brother.
with this.
People who play Mercy are not being even remotely respected. I'm not saying, oh, you need to respect us. It's a matter of We're not even being treated as a human being right now.
Good. Fuck Mercy. She's mad annoying, bro. I don't care. I'm kidding. But no, really, fuck Mercy. God damn it. A Mercy pocket on a Pharah, kill me, dude. In game.
Eevee was someone that previously used to be a Fleshy and was a well-known
Fleshy is a
Overwatch
crazy word.
streamer, but they would eventually become a VTuber while still primarily creating Overwatch content. They were fairly well known in the
I love Overwatch. I've never thought about making Overwatch content because I feel like nobody's going to want to watch that. Overwatch is only fun to watch if you play Overwatch, if that makes sense. It's one of those games where if you're not into Overwatch, it's nothing. I wish I could be an Overwatch streamer because I would. I'm not saying I'm good at Overwatch, but it's like the game I play, you know, the most often when it comes to like multiplayer stuff because I don't feel like there's not a lot of options these days for good multiplayer games, but that's a different video. But I wish I could be an Overwatch streamer, man.
Overwatch space, and they were even
Well, not really, because I have my days where that game fucking pisses me off, and I just don't want to play it. But you know what I mean.
occasionally recognized by the creators of Overwatch, Blizzard, in one instance getting invited to test out the abysmal dogshit that was Overwatch 2
Hey, man, not too much on Overwatch 2, man. Come on, man.
before launch, and after getting this privilege, even they shat on it. They were also known for being a highly skilled Mercy player on top of being very open about their identity as
I was going to make a funny joke, but like, I hate Mercy fucking pockets. And I was going to make a joke saying there's no such thing as a skilled Mercy, but that's not true. I played against plenty of fucking Mercies that are a pain in the ass to kill, bro. Oh my goodness. So I'm not going to say that.
a trans woman, where she would regularly talk about her experience with being trans in the Overwatch space.
I'm so glad this map isn't in fucking Overwatch 2. I hated Volskaya. Map sucks.
Overall, they were a well-known and somewhat respected member of the Overwatch community. However, in the current day, their reputation is anything but respected. The cracks started to show in 2022, where Eve's girlfriend at the time, Reme, had allegations of cheating in Overwatch games, being racist, and supposedly talking explicitly to those underage. Now, none of these initial claims
That's such a crazy leap. Like, you go from cheating in Overwatch to talking to underage, like, people. Like, what the fuck are we doing, man?
are well documented because Reme wasn't as well known, and in the aftermath everything was deleted, so it's hard to track down anything related to this. But what apparently happened is Reme gets called out on Twitter, Eve gets involved defending her, saying the person doing this is only doing this to provide a quote-unquote gotcha moment. Her girlfriend only cheated in one game whilst she was off her meds and blackout drunk, and that the DMs leaked of them supposedly talking to—
Wait, how do you play Overwatch when you're blackout drunk? I'm confused. That doesn't even make any sense.
to those underage were all fake. Once again, this situation wasn't well documented, but it would get brought up again in January of 2023, where Reme was exposed again for doing the same things, or the same story as before was being reiterated. It's unclear, but there were actually some archived screenshots of this conversation, and once again Eve would go on the defense for her girlfriend, but this time it was collectively agreed that this defense was absolutely terrible, because her excuse for why her girlfriend did these things was because it was a coping mechanism. Yeah, the only—
That doesn't make any sense. Like, if your you know, significant other's being a piece of shit, like, and people are saying they did these terrible things, me personally, I'm gonna look into it. I'm not gonna blindly defend somebody for doing some crazy shit like that or being accused of some crazy shit. And only if I knew for a fact that they were wrong, then yeah, sure, you know, I would defend them. But like, come on, man.
The way someone would believe that was if you had some Saul Goodman-like lawyer skills, or if you had the ability to Jedi mind trick someone into believing you. But obviously this did not work, and both Reme and Eve would understandably receive a lot of backlash and see a major hit to their reputation, as this was the primary thing they were known for around.
Also, it's not worth like messing up your career as a content creator getting in this type of situation. Like, because the thing about content creation is it's so hard to make it work and be able to do it full time, but it is so easy to fuck up one time and have that shit taken away from you. So like, to me, you gotta proactively defend yourself or make sure you're not putting yourself in situations like this that it can harm you. Because like I said, it's so easy to have this shit taken away from you when you're doing it full time.
this time. Probably after seeing this and seeing the internet wasn't on her side, Eve would make a tweet longer taking a different stance compared to previously, where she would condemn her girlfriend's actions, claiming they are no longer in a relationship, and she would claim she condoned this behavior because she herself wasn't in the best headspace and wanted to see the best in people. And finally,
Okay, bro. Like, I get you want to see the best in people, but if they're online saying shit like this, like, come on, dog. Like, it's okay for you to want to see the best in her when they're saying shit like this. What about the people she's fucking with and saying crazy things about? Like, it's, you know what I mean?
that she should have took people's advice, but that she will change to make sure this doesn't happen again. This response obviously didn't do much of anything. Her reputation was completely in the toilet at this point, but it was about to get 10 times worse. Because a few days later, a 31-page document would be released not on Reime's actions this time, but on Eve's. This included testimonies and statements from at least 6 people, several of which were previous partners. Now, there are a lot of allegations in this document, but just to list a few, it said they had a pattern of cheating involving multiple relationships. It was said they were emotionally abusive, manipulative, and regularly baited. They were also said to be
what bait? Wait, I can't believe. Are they saying like? Oh, okay. I never heard that term before. That's crazy.
Abusive, manipulative, and regularly baited. They were also said to be hypersexual to the point where they would peer pressure or violate consent. And finally, that they themselves was talking inappropriately to the.
Okay. Why so many of these cases involve people talking to minors? Like, what is going on here? Why is it such a popular thing that seems to be like fucks up a lot of people? Like, how hard is it to just not talk to minors in that type of a way? I don't know, man.
Those underage. That is just a few of the allegations against them. There are a lot more in the full document, but with this document being released, people are now looking towards Eve to see how she would respond. Would she deny all of this and claim her innocence, or even,
let me guess, they just deleted their account and disappeared?
Even provide counter evidence to prove them wrong? No, she wouldn't really do anything. She said she was going to respond, but then apparently decided nah, she's not going to, and just deleted or privated a lot of her content and then left the internet. And one of the only things left behind would be people responding to her statement.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I assumed was going to happen. It's also crazy, like, because these people don't just stop using the internet, right? Like, they might delete all their shit, but like, it's not like they say, oh, I'm not ever using the internet again. The internet is everywhere these days, and people need it. We use it for so much shit. So it's so crazy to think about how some of these people, they delete these accounts and they seemingly disappear. But they're probably on another account just watching things unfold. No cringe audio this time? Okay, cool.
So the last story I wanted to go over is one that I don't think has been looked into much, primarily because this happened in Japan, so there's a language barrier when looking at the articles discussing it, on top of the fact this happened some time ago and there's been no new updates, and it involves VTubers that were rather small. Also, the evidence that this ties to the VTuber.
I feel like I've seen this image on the right. Actually, I feel like I've seen them both before. I don't know who they are, but I'm almost positive I've seen them. I don't know.
Community isn't exactly concrete, so take it with a grain of salt. And just to warn you, I am about to discuss some graphic things, so viewer discretion
Okay, so if I cut this out of the video, it's because of that very reason.
Is advised. But who is this VTuber? Well, it's not just one, it's two, a male and a female, and behind their VTubing persona, these two were actually married. These VTubers were Kura Zakura, who was 27 at the time, and his wife, Al Kumamasha, who was 28. I'm just gonna call them Kura and Al because I can't pronounce their names for shit.
That's
Now,
fair.
these two weren't your normal VTubers. They were known as VTweeters, where instead of live streaming or creating videos like normal VTubers, they were known to only tweet on the Twitter or X platform.
I've seen this term before, and it always like confuses me. Like, why would you ever want to just be a creator on Twitter? Like, what the fuck do you get from Twitter? Twitter is so like, it's the last thing on my mind when it comes to content creation. Like, I'm focused, like my focus is like YouTube, sometimes TikTok, and Twitch maybe in the future. But my thing is, there's no reason to focus growing on Twitter. Twitter, I feel like, is something that will grow as you grow on other platforms, and you shouldn't really focus on it. It feels like it's a waste of fucking time, especially these
hence
days.
the name VTweeter, and their form of content was normally just posting about their lives and occasionally something about their character. Kuro, the male in the relationship,
And at this point, you're just like role playing. Like, why are we calling them V-tweeters when you could just call them like people? That's what they are. They're just role playing on the internet,
even had his own
which is innocent enough. People have been doing it since the beginning of fucking internet, but I don't know. Some people
where
take
he
it
was
too
a
far.
fox spirit that had fallen into darkness, betrayed by his best friend, resulting in him making a contract with a certain alchemist. That alchemist being his wife, the VTuber Al, who posted the same things her husband did, usually things about her day. She didn't really.
I don't know. Like, there's something kind of cute about a guy and his girlfriend or wife or whatever doing shit like this. It's kind of endearing, but obviously it's not was how this story is gonna end because it's in this fucking video. Like the thought of meeting somebody just is like on the same freaky wavelength as you that's kind of cool.
Have any lore to her character. It seemed to her husband was a lot more into it than her, but they would occasionally lab together talking about the darkness, how there's nothing they can do about it, and how he's like Schrödinger's cat, which is a thought experiment involving the quantum superposition principle where something can exist in multiple states at once, but for the clinically brain dead like
I have no idea what the fuck you just said to me, bro. That picture just confused the fuck out of me.
I probably explained that wrong. I'm pretty sure he's just trying to say he's two things at once, like Schrödinger's cat was dead and alive. Now these two seemed like a normal couple, both enjoying this as a hobby. Kuro was working a job that I assume from what he said was working on a farm, and Al was also working whilst trying to find work as an illustrator.
This is crazy because it's starting off so wholesome, and they gave a warning at the beginning that it's gonna be like shitty towards the end. You got to be careful. I have no idea how this is going to turn out.
From the outside, it seemed like their lives, although heavily work-focused, was somewhat ordinary and satisfactory for them, and it was about to see a big change as Al was now expecting a child, of which they were both happy to announce. However, even if everything appeared normal on the outside, things would quickly change to a more sinister turn around August of 2021.
Oh man, what's
because
gonna
even
happen?
though their relationship appeared happy on the outside, in reality, it was anything but. The husband was talking to another woman who was an 18-year-old high school student
There we
named
go.
Kana
Here's the bullshit.
Washina, who some have claimed was also a VTuber, but the sources cited show an account that was active in 2023, which wouldn't make sense with what happened next. Now, Kuruma was in contact with this girl for 2 years. Was he cheating? It was never stated, but his wife knew he had contact with her, and because they would speak so much, the wife became extremely jealous. She eventually reached her boiling point in 2021, where to resolve the issue, both the married couple and Kana agreed to meet and sort things out. On the 28th of August, Kana would leave her family home, telling her parents she was meeting her friends and would be back soon. But when
I have a feeling this is gonna end in murder, man. This is giving off some murder vibes. I'm not fucking with it, dude. Holy shit.
she didn't return that night, her parents would alert the police. Shortly after alerting the police, days later, Kana's body was found on a remote property.
damn.
She had been strangled with a rope and stabbed multiple times.
This is different from the other stories in this video because this isn't so much like a VTuber thing. This is just fucking homicide. It really has nothing to do with VTuber shit.
Both Kuro or Sohei Komori and his wife Al or Izumi Komori would be arrested and questioned.
この事件は東京墨田区の高校3年鷲野花夏さんの遺体を山梨県内の物置小屋に遺棄したとして群馬県に住む小森章平容疑者と妻の泉容疑者が逮捕されたものです。
Now, when Kana left that day to meet them, there was a conversation where the wife wanted her to no longer contact her husband, but for some reason that is not explained in any of the articles I found, this conversation quickly soured and the wife was not happy. This resulted in the couple taking her against her will to their house where they would begin planning what to do with her, with them in an interview saying, and I quote, "We searched for a place to kill her." They decided to take her to a remote property where they would kill.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie, this shit's bumming me out, bro. Like, this is not what I expected this video to turn into. It's just like, why did you have to kill the person? You know what I mean? Like, that was so like, what the fuck?
Her and then dump her body, and she would be found a few days later. Both would be found guilty. The husband would get 23 years in prison, even though the prosecution argued it should be 25, and the wife would only get 18 years because it was said she played a secondary role in.
They both should just be life in prison. Like, why do we give people who murder other people like such light sentences, man? That shit blows my mind.
The murder. Now, it isn't documented why they decided to murder her after the conversation. They could have just gone their separate ways, but the Japanese police think it was because the conversation regarding the relationship was going nowhere. Personally, I think, yes, this is coming from a professional idiot and from complete speculation, but I think the husband, despite his wife's wishes, didn't want to cut contact and instead just decided to kill her. But once again, that's just my speculation. But how do we know that this is the Vtubers we spoke about earlier? Well, people on 5chan would supposedly find their names tied to the Vtubing account, and after both were arrested, their accounts would go inactive on the same day. Not only that, but another VTuber that did a stream with the wife released a statement saying he's distancing himself from them after the news broke. And after this, both of their Twitter accounts would be bombarded with comments regarding the situation.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I might cut this part out of the video. Like, I don't really have much to say on this. It's like, this is an interesting, I guess, thing to watch, but it's like I said, I don't think this really fits in the same place as a previous VTubing like topics or people that he was talking about in this video. This is more like a true crime documentary. Like, I don't really see how this has anything to do with VTubing.
That is all I could find in terms of people connecting the accounts, and in my
But it's still a
opinion,
crazy story.
I think it's the same people, but once again, take it with a grain of salt. The husband is estimated to be released in 2044, and his wife is estimated to be released in 2039. That's only 13 years from the time of this video. So in conclusion, those are some of the most infamous VTubers. Obviously, some included are significantly worse than the others I talked about, and there are probably a lot more unpleasant stories out there that
Oh, there's absolutely more unpleasant stories. Like, you see shit every day when it comes to VTubers like this. Something recently happened with, like, what was that? The blacklist or whatever. They were just like naming a bunch of VTubers that they thought was like sexual harassers or pedophiles or whatever. Like, that shit came out of nowhere, and I don't know. It's like it's always something, man.
didn't talk about. But VTubing, as I said at the start, has got to the point where it's mainstream and more accessible than ever before. Meaning that even the most deplorable of people can become or claim to be a VTuber and gain an audience, which can also be said for anyone that makes content on the internet. And we are probably gonna see a lot more stories like these regarding VTubers, though hopefully.
It's like I said, there's always an audience for anything. You know, if somebody has opinions and thoughts about a certain thing, I can guarantee you there's people out there that agrees with that person, no matter how miserable or awful those thoughts and opinions are.
Not on the levels as some I've mentioned. However, VTubing is still a form of media that isn't going away anytime soon. And despite the VTubers I've shown you today, there are probably 10 times more that are the very opposite. That just entertain and interact with the VTubing space in one form or another.
I can't wait until we get to the day. Wasn't this person in the beginning of the VTubing video saying some crazy shit or doing some crazy? Anyway, I can't wait until VTubing gets to a space where it's just like regular. Everybody sees it and it's no longer like this crazy fucking special thing. Because I'm just tired of like it just being so like sensationalized to a certain degree, I guess, if that makes sense.
Another. Not every VTuber is the same as another, especially Chibidoki. That thing cannot be replicated.
Not too much on Chibi, bro. Not too much.
I'm now going to go listen to the new Teto song on repeat. Yes, I just put you on an absolute masterpiece of a song. Thank me later. And just quickly, I have to
we will not be there, buddy.
Remind you that your favorite VTuber has a significant other, including the one watching this. But yep, that's all I had to say.
I mean, hey man, you don't putting all my business out there. I don't appreciate that, dude.
And bye-bye.
This is my first time reacting to a video from this person. It's really good. It was really well edited, and the person obviously did a lot of research, so I appreciate that. This is gonna be a really long video, so shout out to anybody who made it to the end. I appreciate it, and if not, I totally understand. But that's gonna be it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next one.